I hope you have been enjoying these Star Wars videos I've been doing all year, or at least the last half of a year anyway. I hope these videos have encouraged you to watch these films and or check out the franchise. Star Wars is without a doubt a cultural phenomenon. Not only that, but it's just so vast and interesting that I just really enjoy it. And considering that it was the 40th anniversary last year, I wanted to do my part in reviewing these films. But by the end of this, I hope that these videos have encouraged you to watch these films and or check out the franchise. And if it hasn't, then at least you gave it a shot. You watched the videos, you at least took a chance. You took your first step into a larger world. It all began with Star Wars. The 1977 classic. You can call it A New Hope or Episode 4, I don't care. I call it Star Wars, it will always be called Star Wars. I will always call it Star Wars, I don't care, deal with it. It showed the universe in a different light. Most sci-fi films and most sci-fi media up to that point were shiny, new, and high-tech. This universe looked used and rusty. It shows you that years have gone by without proper care, a sign of the glory days gone by. It was a simple film with characters that we love and care about, a villain that was really a victim of himself, and bad mentoring too, as the prequels would establish, and a force that united everyone in a time when the 70s was nothing more than Vietnam War woes, rising oil prices, and economic and political mistakes. Star Wars was unlike any other film at that time. It became something more than just a film. It was a universal awakening. It made families go to the movies again. Then it evolved into 2 great sequels, and the rest is history. It became a franchise that united a nation. It is more than a franchise, with 9 movies, several more in the works, 3 TV series, and a ton of books and games and other forms of merchandise. For most, it's a universal language, a balance of the light and the dark. A force that unites everyone and everything, both the living force and the cosmic force, also known as the spiritual force. The force can be anything you want it to be, something religious or spiritual. There's lots of evidence to support this. Several books have pointed this out, and even several documentaries too. It can be whatever you want it to be, as I mentioned in my reflections of the original trilogy video. I adore Star Wars. It is my favorite franchise of all time. At least it's my favorite popular franchise, that is. Here's another reason why I like Star Wars, as I've already mentioned in my other videos, but there's another reason, but I forgot to mention. I prefer it over Star Trek. With Star Trek, there's Trekkers and Trekkies. Trekkers talk casually about Star Trek, basically talking about what episodes they like, which version or incarnation of a show they liked, whether the original series, Next Generation, blah blah blah, and etc. Trekkies live off of Star Trek. Anything you say or do has to do something with something Star Trek related. You dress up in the outfits and dream of boarding a Enterprise or a Klingon ship in your lifetime. Star Wars, you can be free to be whoever you want, a Jedi or a Sith, a bounty hunter or an alien creature. If you like or don't like the prequels, you will be accepted no matter what. I think it's great. I know there's another series that involves accepting one another, but we'll talk about that at a different time. I appreciate the fan base. They know what is good and what's bad. And not to mention, we have our own views on whether or not we like or dislike the prequels, and whether or not we like or dislike the special editions of the original trilogy. It doesn't matter whatever fan base I join in the future, either a Potterhead, a Brony, a member of a Tribute, Hunger Games in case you don't know, a brown coat, a fan of Game of Thrones, or anything else really. It doesn't matter what fan base I will join in the future. Star Wars will always be the first fandom I have ever been a part of. And I want to thank all of you for watching this marathon. I couldn't have asked for a better audience. I hope that you consider watching the movies in the future, and if you have seen these films before and are still not a fan of Star Wars, it's okay. I understand. You at least gave it a shot. The entire series and franchise started with one man, George Lucas. I know he gets a lot of garbage now with his changes to the original trilogies, and I think everybody knows about how obsessive he can be, and how he wanted his movies to be a certain way and so forth. But think about this. When it comes to Star Wars, he risked everything to get his vision to life, including jeopardizing his health and well-being. Everyone thought it was just some kid's movie, and no one, I repeat, no one wanted to show it, or for that matter, nobody wanted it to be finished. But he refused to give up, even going so far as to taking over the entire production by himself. But he had a vision and in turn, won respect in the industry. And remember, he made only 2 other films, THX 1138 and American Graffiti. It was because of him that we have to thank for uniting storytelling with visual effects, including many cultures and themes and crossing it over to the masses. Awakening a faith that is meaningful, deep, and easy to understand. And last but not least, creating a force that has so many layers and is so interesting that I can't help but be a Jedi myself. If you want to be a Sith, that's fine too. So yes, I am a diehard fan of Star Wars. I think it should come as no real surprise at this point. And what about the 2 movies coming up, Solo and Episode 9? Well, I am gonna review those, but they'll be more like honorable reviews, as they will be a part of a playlist that I created that is all my Star Wars reviews. And if you want more Star Wars entertainment, I created a playlist on my channel that includes every single Star Wars documentary, trailer, and scene that I could find on YouTube from all the movies. So I highly encourage you to check that out. So yes, I feel very proud of this series, and I'm happy to be a part of the reviewing community, reviewing Star Wars movies. And I hope you have enjoyed. Now, before we end this, there's one last thing that we need to address. Remember how I said that I was never going to do anything TV related? Well, I realized that there's one last Star Wars movie I have yet to talk about. I'm not even going to say what it is because I'm pretty sure you know exactly what it is. I know what it is, you know what it is, I'm sure the entire world knows what it is. But I'm not exactly going to do it right now, but maybe I'll talk about that one some other time. I'm planning something special for it. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.